There is a kind of loneliness that has nothing to do with being alone. You can be surrounded by people, messages, noise, and activity, and still feel deeply, painfully lost. Many men live in this quiet confusion. They wake up each day without a clear sense of direction, without a reason that pulls them forward. They go to work, they scroll, they pass time, and they tell themselves that everything is fine. But deep down, they know it isn't. Something is missing. Most men were never taught how to find meaning. They were taught how to survive, how to earn, how to distract themselves, but not how to live with purpose. When you do not know what you are aiming for, every path feels wrong. You move through life with a vague sense of dissatisfaction, as if you are behind in a race you do not even understand. The Stoics understood this feeling. Marcus Aurelius wrote that many people live as if they are half asleep, carried along by habit and impulse instead of guided by intention. A man who does not know what he stands for will be pulled in every direction by circumstance. He becomes reactive instead of decisive. Over time, this erodes his confidence and his sense of self. You may feel lost not because you are broken, but because you are disconnected from what gives life meaning. Modern life offers endless distractions but very little purpose. You are constantly entertained, constantly stimulated, and constantly pulled away from the hard questions that actually matter. What do you want? Who do you want to become? What kind of man are you building? Without answers to these questions, your mind drifts. And when the mind drifts, the soul feels empty. Many men try to fix this emptiness with external things. They chase money, status, relationships, or pleasure. These things can feel good for a while, but they do not create direction. They only create movement, and movement without direction leads nowhere. The Stoics believed that a man must choose his values before he can choose his path. Seneca wrote that if a person does not know which port he is sailing toward, no wind is favorable. This is the heart of why you feel lost. You are moving, but you are not aiming. This creates a deep frustration. You feel busy, but not fulfilled. You feel tired, but not accomplished. You feel restless, but not inspired. Your days blur together because they are not guided by a clear purpose. This loss of direction is not a personal failure. It is a cultural one. Modern society gives men very few meaningful roles to grow into. There are no clear rites of passage, no clear expectations of what it means to be a man of character. Instead, you are told to consume, to compete, and to chase shallow versions of success. But deep down, you want something else. You want to feel useful. You want to feel respected. You want to feel like your life is building towards something real. The Stoics believed that meaning comes from living in alignment with your highest principles. When your actions match your values, you feel grounded. When they do not, you feel lost. You may not know exactly what you want, but you likely know what you do not want. You do not want to feel weak. You do not want to feel invisible. You do not want to feel like your life is slipping away. These feelings are not signs that you are failing. They are signs that you are waking up. When you feel lost, it means your current way of living no longer satisfies you. It means you are ready for something deeper. The discomfort you feel is the beginning of growth. The Stoics taught that pain is not always something to avoid. Sometimes it is the voice of your true self, telling you that you are meant for more. You do not need to have everything figured out to begin. You only need to start asking better questions. What kind of man do you respect? What qualities do you admire? What values would you be proud to live by? These questions give you something to aim at. They turn confusion into curiosity. They turn drifting into direction. You may feel lost right now, but you are not without potential. You are simply between who you have been and who you are becoming. Once you begin to notice that feeling lost is not random, but the result of living without direction, something shifts inside you. You start to see patterns that were invisible before. You notice how much of your day is spent reacting instead of choosing. You wake up and immediately check your phone. You let messages, news, and other people's demands decide what you think about. You move from one distraction to another, never fully present, never fully in control. Over time, this erodes your sense of agency. You stop feeling like the author of your life and start feeling like a character in someone else's story. The Stoics believed that this loss of agency is one of the deepest sources of suffering. Epictetus taught that freedom begins with knowing what is within your control and what is not. You cannot control the world, but you can control how you respond to it. When you forget this, you feel powerless, and powerlessness feels like being lost. Most men are not lacking in opportunity. They are lacking in focus. They scatter their energy across too many things that do not matter. They chase pleasure, approval, and short-term wins, hoping that one of them will make them feel whole. But these things only provide temporary relief. When the stimulation fades, the emptiness returns. The Stoics warned against this. They believed that pleasure is not the same as happiness. Pleasure is fleeting. Happiness comes from living in alignment with your purpose. When you do not know what your purpose is, you will chase anything that promises to make you feel better. This is why so many men feel exhausted even when they are not doing much. Their energy is being drained by mental noise, not meaningful effort. They are constantly pulled in different directions by notifications, expectations, and distractions. Without a clear goal, everything feels equally important, and that creates overwhelm. The Stoics believed that a man must choose a guiding principle for his life. This does not have to be something grand or abstract. It can be as simple as becoming disciplined, becoming strong, or becoming reliable. What matters is that it gives you a standard by which to measure your actions. When you have a standard, you no longer drift. You ask yourself, does this move me closer to the man I want to become, or further away? This single question can cut through 1,000 distractions. Most men have never asked themselves this. They live on autopilot, doing what feels good or what feels expected, not what feels meaningful. Over time, this creates a quiet resentment toward their own lives. They feel like they are wasting something precious, even if they cannot quite name what it is. The Stoics believed that time is the most valuable thing you have. Seneca wrote that people guard their money, but throw away their hours as if they were worthless. When you waste your time, you are wasting the substance of your life. This is why feeling lost is often accompanied by anxiety about the future. You sense that you are not building anything, that your days are not adding up to something you respect. That anxiety is not a weakness, it is a warning. To fix this, you do not need a perfect plan. You need a direction. You need something that is worth your effort, even when it is hard. This could be mastering a skill, improving your health, building a business, or becoming a more capable man. What matters is that it challenges you. The Stoics believed that challenge is what gives life meaning. Without it, you stagnate. When you face difficulty and grow, you feel alive. Once you commit to a direction, your days change. You have a reason to wake up. You have a reason to say no to distractions. You have a reason to endure discomfort. Purpose gives your pain a direction. This is how you stop feeling lost. You do not wait for clarity. You create it through action. When you commit to a direction, even a simple one, something powerful begins to happen inside you. Your mind starts to quiet down. The constant background noise of uncertainty, comparison, and self-doubt slowly fades. This does not mean your problems disappear. It means you finally have a way to face them. The Stoics believed that confusion comes from not knowing what you are trying to become. Once you have an aim, even imperfectly, the fog begins to lift. Many men feel lost because they are not anchored to anything solid. Their identity is built on unstable ground, on approval from others, on temporary pleasure, or on roles that can disappear at any moment. When those things are threatened, their sense of self collapses. The Stoics believed that a man must build his identity on character, not circumstance. When your identity is rooted in who you are, not what you have, you become unshakable. To build this kind of identity, you must begin to see yourself as someone who acts with intention. You are not just someone who reacts to life. You are someone who chooses how to respond. This sounds simple, but it is a radical shift. Most men let their emotions dictate their actions. When they feel tired, they rest. When they feel bored, they distract themselves. When they feel afraid, they retreat. Over time, this creates a life that is ruled by impulse. The Stoics taught that a man who is ruled by his impulses is not free. True freedom comes from self-mastery. It comes from the ability to choose what is right over what is easy. When you begin to practice this, even in small ways, you start to feel a new kind of strength. You choose to wake up when the alarm goes off instead of hitting snooze. You choose to work on what matters before checking your phone. You choose to sit with discomfort instead of escaping it. These choices may seem small, but they are training your mind. They are teaching you that you are capable of directing yourself. Over time, this creates momentum. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to believe that you can handle challenges. This belief is the foundation of confidence. The Stoics believed that a man should be like a fortress, not closed off, but grounded. Storms may come, but they do not knock him over. When you build discipline and self-control, you create that inner stability. Feeling lost is often the result of being scattered. Your attention is pulled in too many directions. Your energy is divided among too many shallow pursuits. To fix this, you must simplify. You must decide what matters and let go of what does not. This is difficult, because letting go of distractions can feel like losing something. But in reality, you are gaining something far more valuable. You are gaining your time. You are gaining your focus. You are gaining your life. When you begin to live this way, you start to feel present. You are no longer rushing through your days or waiting for something to happen. You are actively shaping your future. The Stoics believed that every day is a chance to practice being the man you want to become. You do not have to wait for a perfect moment. You only have to start. There is a moment that arrives quietly when you begin to live with direction. You do not hear it announce itself. There is no dramatic music or sudden transformation. It arrives in the form of calm, a steady, grounded feeling that you did not have before. You wake up and you know what you are here to do. You may not know the entire path, but you know the next step, and that is enough. The Stoics believed that peace is not something you find in the world. It is something you build inside yourself. When your actions are aligned with your values, your mind stops fighting itself. You are no longer pulled in 10 different directions by impulse, fear, and distraction. You move with intention. Most men who feel lost are not weak. They are scattered. Their energy is being spent on too many things that do not matter. They are exhausted not from effort, but from waste. When you begin to focus your life around something meaningful, that exhaustion fades. In its place comes a quiet strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, that a man should not be disturbed by external things, but by his own lack of direction. He believed that when you know who you are and what you stand for, the chaos of the world loses its power over you. You may still face difficulty, but you no longer feel adrift. This is the heart of Stoic philosophy. You do not need to control the world. You need to control yourself. You do not need perfect circumstances. You need clear principles. When you live by those principles, you create stability in an unstable world. You begin to trust yourself. You trust that you will do what you say you will do. You trust that you will face what is hard instead of avoiding it. That trust is the foundation of confidence. That trust is the foundation of confidence. And confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build slowly through the evidence of your own actions. Every time you do what you said you would do, even when no one is watching, you lay another brick in that foundation. Every time you avoid what is difficult, that foundation weakens. Most men who feel lost are not confused about what they should do. They are confused because they do not trust themselves to do it. The Stoics understood this deeply. They believed that a man who cannot rely on his own word is never at peace. When you promise yourself you will change and then fail to follow through, something inside you breaks. It may be small, but it accumulates. Over time, it becomes a quiet voice that says, "Why even try?" That voice is not truth. It is the echo of your own broken commitments. This is why discipline is not about control. It is about restoration. It restores your faith in yourself. When you wake up and do the hard thing, you prove to yourself that you are not weak. When you stay consistent, you show yourself that you are not a victim of your moods. This changes how you see everything. The Stoics called this self-mastery. Not mastery over other people, but mastery over your impulses, your fears, and your excuses. This is the kind of strength that cannot be taken away. No one can make you feel small if you know you are living with integrity. Most men today are drowning in choices, but starving for meaning. They have endless options for distraction, but very few reasons to wake up excited. This creates a strange form of paralysis. When everything is available, nothing feels worth pursuing. So they drift, and drifting feels like being lost. The Stoics believed that meaning is created through commitment. You choose something that matters, and you give yourself to it. You do not wait until it feels perfect. You begin even when you feel uncertain. That commitment becomes an anchor in the chaos of life. When you have something to work toward, your suffering changes. It is no longer meaningless. It becomes the price of growth. Long nights, early mornings, setbacks, and frustrations all take on a new meaning. They are no longer signs that you are failing. They are signs that you are building. This is why men who train, who build, who strive, often feel more alive than men who live in comfort. Effort gives life weight. Without it, everything feels hollow. The Stoics believed that hardship is the natural state of life. Comfort is the exception. When you expect comfort, every difficulty feels like a betrayal. When you expect difficulty, every small victory feels like a gift. This shift in expectation is what makes a man resilient. He no longer asks, "Why is this hard?" He asks, "What is this making me?" You begin to see yourself as someone who is being shaped. Every challenge is carving something into your character. Every obstacle is strengthening something inside you. This gives even the darkest moments a sense of purpose. When you live this way, being lost becomes impossible. You always know what to do next. You may not know the final destination, but you know the next step. And that is all you need. The Stoics believed that clarity is found in action. You do not think your way out of confusion. You act your way out of it. When you commit to a path, even an imperfect one, the fog begins to lift. You stop asking, "What is my purpose?" and start asking, "What is the most meaningful thing I can do right now?" That question changes everything. Because purpose is not a single answer. It is a pattern of choices. Every day, you choose whether to grow or shrink. Every day, you choose whether to face fear or hide from it. Every day, you choose whether to become stronger or stay comfortable. Those choices are your life. When you begin to make them consciously, you stop feeling lost. You feel grounded. You feel present. You feel alive. And that is what you were searching for all along. Without it, nothing feels solid. Feeling lost is what happens when you do not trust yourself. When you constantly break promises to yourself. When you avoid what you know you should do, your mind becomes divided. One part of you wants to grow. Another part wants to stay comfortable. That internal conflict creates anxiety, restlessness, and dissatisfaction. The Stoics believed that integrity is the cure. Integrity means your actions match your values. When you live this way, your mind becomes unified. You no longer feel pulled in opposite directions. You also begin to feel respect for yourself. Not because you are perfect, but because you are honest. You are doing your best with what you have. That is enough. This is how you fix the feeling of being lost. You do not find yourself by searching. You build yourself through action. You decide what matters. You commit to it. And you show up every day, even when it is hard. The path will not always be clear, but clarity comes from walking, not from waiting. You are not broken. You are simply between who you have been and who you are becoming. And that is where real strength is born.